Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
And that's the bell! Thank you for waiting, ladies and gents. It's time to begin the second round of the Tournament for the Throne! First of all, congratulations to the 20 who have won their places on the King's Rock. You are now officially the winners of the first round. Let's give them a hand!
No sign of Luis. Even if he does plan to take over, suppose he's still not eager to play by their rules.
I haven't seen Juna this morning either.
I heard some nobles say she had a job suddenly come up. Better that the audience doesn't see her with us.
Now, at long last, we are ready to announce their next challenge. This time, the task for the candidates is recovering and offering a divine relic!
What? A relic?
Don't worry, we're happy to explain everything. You'll not want to forget this, so we've arranged for you to hear it from an unforgettable voice. To tell us more, please welcome to the stage our guide, our songstress, the lovely Lady Juna!
Her sudden obligation revealed, I suppose.
Chosen heroes! Your next destination is Altaberry Heights, the capital of the Principality of Montario. You are to gather there by the deadline, with a divine relic in hand to offer the Sanctus Church. Tragically, there are still heathens in this land who choose to reject sanctism. They care nothing for salvation. They cling to strange idols, calling them divine relics, believing them gifts from their eldritch gods. But their rituals are unstable, and their relics just primitive magic tools. It is time we put an end to this misguided witchery. Take these relics from the pagan's grasp and bring them to the birthplace of sanctism, Altaberry Heights in Montario. Please deliver them to their rightful place in God's hands. May all our aspiring heroes be blessed with good fortune and the favor of God. I pray for your success.
What a real presence before a crowd, doesn't she? Positively plucks at your heart.
Focus, Iceland, focus.
By the deadline of the second round, Altaberry will begin the festivities for the autumnal Montario Saints' Day. This two-day event kicks off on Saints' Day Eve, with the main celebrations on the day proper. And this year's event will be historic. His Eminence, Sanctifex Forden, will be personally sealing the collection of the pagan relics. To celebrate, the songstress Juna will be dedicating a ceremonial song. You won't want to miss this, folks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on my mark, let the second round of the Tournament for the Throne begin!
They're unabashedly ordering them to steal relics from pagan land now. That's plunder! They would steal our very culture! That candidate's a Mustari. Small wonder he's so aghast. Forden's stooping to a new low.
I ask Heisme what he means by a new low. Heisme explains that the Mustari are a pagan people, and their relics are cultural touchstones, vital to their hearts and faiths, and Forden's just ordered them to loot them as they please. Gallagher comments on our case, we will not know our role until Luis tells us. Regardless, we're heading for Altaberry, Shaw replies, adding that it's further east and we've got quite the long trip ahead of us. I wonder if we'll see any of Hulkenberg's family, as Juna comments on her shoulders, thinking they would ask her a little sooner than the morning of. Fidelio says that she did a hell of a show, adding that Luis has sent for us as well. I guess we get going ASAP, heading for the Skyrunner. We enter, Juna being as loud as ever. Fidelio finds it quite funny ever since the incident with Gladell. We've been inseparable. Juna thinks that one has to keep one chauffeur in line, asking if he agrees. He's just disgruntled. Basilio tells her good job on getting the gig at the Sanctus Festival. She's thankful but isn't sure if it's worth celebrating. He's confused as she says that she believes it's to keep Luis in check, putting her on stage the whole time so they can make sure Luis doesn't crash the Sanctus Day party. Fidelio gets that, seeing it as an excuse to blacklist her, but Luis thinks that she shouldn't fear it, as Forden stews in his own dread. He seeks divine relics is common knowledge, but who would simply give up an idol on par with a god's reverence? He has all but commanded that they take it by force. The king's magic has ruined his schemes. We humiliated him in the public eye, and in one desperate final grasp for authority, he has placed his fate in Luis's hands. His game will soon end, so let's give him the finale he deserves. I ask him what he's going to do. I wonder if he has a way to kill Luis, but he simply asks if he has to hear it repeated. He just wants to kill him. Stroll asks about the king's magic, but he simply states that we'll see soon enough. For now, we need only follow his orders. For our task, we need to grab a divine relic for him. The artifact is a lance known as Dracodios. That sounds important. Juna thinks that the Draco part implies it has something to do with dragons. Luis admits that the lore behind it intrigues him, and we shall acquire it in time for the Sanctus Day and bring it to him. Fidelio asks that it's quite high stakes, asking if he's sure he wants us on the job. Luis reassures Fidelio he has other agents gathering other relics for him. He has no urgent need for Dracodios or us if we fail. Juna replies that she'll tag along so she can keep an eye on us, just in case we try and run off with the relic. Luis comments on her attachment to us. She replies that it's her first formal assignment in his service, and she can act as his eyes and ears. Hey, I thought I were! But Luis is fine with it, saying she may act accordingly. Juna is happy, asking where we can find it, but Luis just responds for us to find our own clues elsewhere. We will have no further from him. We must prove we can think as well as we fight, and he leaves us hoping success for our shared vision, and we leave him. Honestly, I don't know where to start. I only have that it's likely connected to Mystari, so I search around, and I eventually made it to the seaport, where the Mystari candidate is furious about it all. Heisme thinks it's understandable, with everyone ordered to ransack his homeland, but wondering how we should approach him. I say that the church has crossed a line. He turns to face us, saying that we're not with the Sanctus Church. The only few aren't by the looks of it. Stroll admits that he knows little about divine relics, but he knows very well what it's like to have one's homeland threatened. He's honest, saying that they're symbols of their faith. More than that, they're the soul of their culture, their history.
Followers of the old native beliefs worship idols that are known to conduct magic, which they call divine relics. But unlike the igniters of modern times, they are primitive in make and function, and often dangerous. So said my studies, at least.
Juna calls what Hulkenberg said Sanctus propaganda, being the opposite, they're powerful beyond belief, and our igniters are crude imitations of that power, saying if we ever saw one for ourselves, we'd see the difference. They're not called divine for nothing after all. With power like that, they may as well came from the gods themselves. The Mystari recognizes her, surprised that he would hear her from her, especially after her performance today, but she replies that job's a job, asking if he's aware that pagans aren't the only people oppressed by the church, but he sees that she's well informed, and by the sounds of it, he guesses she hails from the Mages Academy. She calls that all details, really, just not wanting the power to be abused again. He knows that the others will be hell-bent on taking relics by any means, but he can see we're different. Troll admits that we're looking for a relic called Dracodios. He tells us that it's the lance of the dragon god, and supposes that anyone would want to take their homeland's greatest treasure, but the lance is no secret. He truly wishes for mainlanders to come and see it, telling me about his island and where it stands on a clear day. We can see it from this island. Hulkenberg asks if he speaks of Virga Island, and explains that it's a large island in the inland sea. Most of the people who live there are Mustari, and remains the only place where Sanctism has not taken root. He tells us he does not want to abolish the Sanctism, he merely doesn't want everything they believe in to be destroyed. He hoped to change the world, but with what he's seen, he knows he is just a fool. And with that chat, he introduced himself as Edeni, but asked for us to forget about the lands. They will not hand it over, and we will never reach it anyways. I tell him that we have no plan to take it forcefully, but he explains that even if we did, no ship will sail there. It's the first of many obstacles, adding that Virga Island isn't a place for an outsider, and leaves not before saying that he chased a fool's dream, hoping I do not too. This leaves us in a tad bit of a pickle, since we have no real way to get to the island. If there is no boat that will take us, of course on top of many other things, and our only way there is to go to Montario, but that will take way too much time. But silly us, we didn't put one thing in mind. Neuras is a crazy man, and has been given the runner the ability to fucking run on water. This is why Neuras is the man, honestly. One moment he's talking about soaring and now we're swimming. There's nothing this man can do. Well, except for keep a drink down, I guess. But it seems he was on top of all this, knowing that the best way to get to Montario was just to go straight rather than around. I hear Fidelio's voice asking if we're seriously not making a trip in that. We're shocked to see them, but it seems they've decided they don't trust us just yet, being bodyguard duty for Juna, as we're going to a remote wild island. Juna just says that they don't trust me, but Fidelio says that they're coming on Luis's orders, asking if we have a problem. Neuras is fine, just worried about the lack of beds. They seem to be fine with that, but also not expecting the ship to last the trip, but at least Basilio is seeming to be more enjoying of the situation, as they leave us for the time being. This is a little worrying, but Stroll asks for my angle on all of this. It's obvious they're still suspicious of us. Stroll agrees, but Neuras seems to not really care. From any tension, must not see them as bad guys, as he says that he's going to check the runner, and to give him a holler when we're ready to go. Fair enough. As we look at the map, like the other times, it'll be 3 days and 2 nights to get there, so no point in waiting any longer, so let's just get going. Gotta say, I'm surprised we're actually moving, well, more like gliding. More importantly, it's not sinking. But Stroll thinks about where we're going, thinking it's wholly foreign to him. Hulkenberg simply says it's an island within an archipelago, where many Mustari live. She's heard their faith involves a special maiden of some kind. Heisme wonders in how they're going to manage to avoid the church's influence, doubting they have the manpower to stop them. Juna says that they have an item there that can overturn history, and they cannot allow their soldiers to see it. Although calling it a rumor, we're left to wonder if we can negotiate, but Fidelio wonders what the fuss is. We just kill them all. Juna tells them off for always wanting death, but Fidelio calls it Luis's orders, but Hulkenberg thinks they're disrespecting his name with unnecessary violence. Basilio sighs, asking if we're there yet. This is going to be harder than I thought.
The Gauntlet Runner takes to the water in its new form, setting out to the wide open sea. Their destination, Virga Island, an enigmatic foreign land that not even the long arm of Sanctism can reach. Not all present now would count themselves as allies. Will this prove difficult, or something else entirely?
Now that everything's done, we actually have some free time, and I spend it fishing with Heisme. I gotta say, this fishing thing is actually super fun, almost like it was God sent. I think that the true diversity will be found if every race went fishing instead of war. But we get a bunch of fish for our efforts and call it a day.
As the sun dips below the horizon and the stars begin to reflect off the water's surface, the Gauntlet Runner reaches the shore. Lurking below the surface, in the black and fathomless deep, are the eager eyes of predatory hunters. But the party, safe inside their Gauntlet Runner, relaxes from the burdens of their voyage, gazing out over calm waters.
And during the night, me and Juna have a refreshing talk away from the brothers' glares. It was a good talk too, which boosted my imagination. As we talk through the rest of the night, I just hope that our trek across the ocean will be peaceful,